Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to do something a little bit different with our background, and we're going to make a gorgeous card using lots of Anna Griffin goodies. Everything I do use I shall put in a detailed description on my blog, and the names of the items and any extra items that I've used or anything I've forgotten to mention as we go along. So please feel free to comment on my blog or on Facebook. Please comment on YouTube, but I can't reply to you on YouTube. I can reply everywhere else, but just not on YouTube. However, I do read all your comments. So the first thing that we're going to need is our base card, and this is a 7 by 7 inch card, and it's slightly bigger than our normal 6 by 6, and it is just a good size to make a really standout card, and that's what this is going to be. Even though it's quite a quick card, we've got a good technique on here that's very easy and that you could try on any of your cards. So that's the size that we're working with. That gives you a perspective at home. If for any reason you can't get hold of the 7 by 7 inch cards wherever you live, I'm going to plug myself now. I have the 8 by 8 size downloadable kits available from my store on Facebook. So if you were ever in need of an 8 by 8 card base, then that would work as well for this. So that's the size of card that we're working with, and the first thing, as always, we're going to do is use our bone folder to make sure we've got a nice sharp edge along the crease, because even though they're factory made, they don't always make sure that that's a good sharp clean edge, so it would maybe stand up a little bit funny. Well, we want ours stood up proud on the mantelpiece. So the first thing we're going to do is the inside of our card, as always. And the inside of this card, I think, is a bit of a showstopper, and it will match the outside perfectly. So the base of the inside of our card, even though we're using a white base card, I've taken a piece of ivory cardstock and I've made a pencil line through the centre into a cross. Now I know I don't get hung up about measuring, and I kind of do things by eye, but for this I did measure. And I measured half the size of the insert to get the centre point, and so on for the sides as well. And then I used craft masking tape roll, and I masked off one side of a square and the other, and then I used a lilac ink pad. You could use any colour. I used a lilac ink pad and I inked and blended a square, and then I took the masking tape off and I did exactly the same for the other one, and then inked and blended it. So that's how I got the two squares on the background. I've got flat tape on the back of this that I'm just going to peel away and then add this to the centre of our card, like so. So that's the base of the inside of our card. Next, I've cut a circle in dark red paper, and I've taken it through the Xyron machine, and I'm putting it off centre. There we go. And then I have another circle that I've die cut in ivory card, and I've stamped using the sentiment stamp and die set the word thank you on it, and I'm simply going to position that through the centre of the previous circle like that. And then I've taken one of Anna's favourite flower stickers and I've pulled it apart, and I've taken the top layer, taken it through the Xyron machine as I did do the circle layers for the adhesive, and I'm simply going to add that to the side of the sentiment. Now that is our insert finished. There's a little bit of room for your message, your to, from. Obviously not a life story on this one. You could write in the circle, you could write in your blank squares, you could write anywhere. But for the effect, I think this section is your insert, as it were, for your writing. It's up to you. It just gives you that effect that we're going to have on the outside. And I think that already stands out. So now we can do the outside. Now for this one, it's very important that you do make sure that you make your crease again along the edge of your card. For the simple reason, now we're going to create a background on the card. And for that, we're using 4 squares of flock. Now, these are from Anna's 7x5" flock layers. I've trimmed them down. They were, again, we've had to measure. I don't always like giving you measurements because I know a lot of people think, oh, I have to do it at that size. Well, for this, you had to do it at 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches because the card is 7 inches wide and it's a true 7-inch wide card. So we've cut out, used 2 layers and cut them and trimmed them to 3.5 inches and 3.5 inches to go to 7. So we were able to get the 2 from 1, as it were. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to peel these off and we're going to make our background on the card. So we're going to position them onto the card to make that checkerboard effect and hope that they're going to fit and cover the card and sit together and that I've measured them well. So kind of like sharpen, take a breath, making sure that they fit. Are they going to fit? Are they going to cover? Am I going to get it right? Oh! And the last one, so I picked a lilac and a gold colour. So hopefully they will fit. And I'm going to put that like that and just peel that one away just slightly before it sets. That's why I did it on the Xyron, so that I can just manipulate them a little bit. There we go. So that's the background of our card. Next, I've cut out in the red, like we used for the inside. I've cut out a red circle and I've got tape on the back of this. And I'm simply going to peel the tape away and add this just slightly to one side of our card, just slightly off centre, like that. Press it down. If you have trouble sticking to the flock, you can add a little bit of wet glue and that will help, because sometimes it's a little bit tricky to stick to. But my tape is quite good, is my tape at the moment. So that should stick, and that's only thin paper. So next I've used one of Anna's fancy layers, and they are fancy and they're so pretty, and I don't use them often enough, and I should do. And they've got a wide range of colours available in them when they were available in this country, should I say. They're just so pretty. And I know across the pond my friends had them in a different variety pack a while ago. Well, I'm using the lilac from the original pack. I've got double-sided tape on the back of it, and I'm going to position this just over the top of the red circle. So the red circle was cut just that little bit bigger than the lilac pretty layer, like so. Okay, next I have another circle, and it's red in the same colour that we used previously, And this is going to go through the centre of our fancy layer, like that. Press it down. And then I have a sentiment, and this is the sentiment that was in the centre of the pretty layer, and it says, "With sincere thanks." Obviously, if you wanted to use a different sentiment, you could, but I'm just using the one that was with the layer. So I'm going to position that through the circle that we've just made. I've put 3D foam on it, so it stands proud, like that. And then I've taken some of Anna's favourite flower stickers, and I just simply peel the back of them away, and I'm going to add them to one side of the sentiment. So I've taken 2 purple poppies and a set of pink roses. Now on the 3rd poppy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the back of it away, but I'm actually going to snip the tail away because I don't need the poppy stalk. So we can just snip that away, because a lot of people forget these are your stickers now, and if you want to just alter them by cutting that little bit away, then you can. So we're just going to position that over the bottom of the stalk of the roses to cover that up, like that. And then I've got a little gold bow. Well, I'm saying it's a little gold bow. It isn't a little gold bow this time. It's a large gold bow. And I'm simply going to position that just underneath our sentiment. Just on the tip of the circle, I think. Like that. And that is our card finished. A very pretty card. And not too much to it, but the background sets it off and makes it look very different, matching perfectly to the inside. So now you can see I'm not going crackers where I've made the checkerboard effect for the inside, and you can just see it, just so pretty. The colour combination, the gold, the lilac and the red, just works so well. Stands up nicely. Might need a little bit of padding just to protect your flowers. Not so much. You haven't got many layers on there. And it stands up nicely. And it's just such a pretty card. I do hope you've enjoyed watching this. If you've got anything to say, please feel free. I enjoy making the projects and I enjoy hearing from you. So if there's anything that you want to see, I can't promise it if it's not been available in the UK, because we're quite behind with our products from Anna at the moment. But if there's anything and you know I've got it or I've used it before and you want to see it in a different way, just give me a shout. Please share with your crafty friends, because I do enjoy making the projects and it's nice to reach as many people as I possibly can. And if you enjoy crafting and want to introduce anybody to this amazing range, and it is amazing, let's face it, all of us are Anna Griffin fans and we all have a great stash, and it's just nice seeing how to use them a little bit differently. So I'd like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.